Good morning, everybody. I am doing a new series today. It's really all about me talking through my process when making a piece of abstracted art. Now, I am doing this outline because, number one, it just makes things look a bit nicer when you're finally done. And number two, I think I like to be able to sign on the outside. It kind of boxes in the art and makes it look like I meant to do it there. Now, I am doing this on poster board from the Dollar Tree. Spent $1.25 on some poster boards and chopped it up into this smaller rectangle. So you can use this. I chose it because it's thicker than regular printer paper, and I think it's going to receive the paint a lot better. Now the style we'll be doing today is mostly smear style. I have a paint knife here, and I'm really just going to be smearing the paint across. There's not going to be a lot of thick layered paint because this is not a canvas, but still, we're going to have fun with it. So the tool I'm using is a paint knife that I've had since forever. It's nice and flat, and I like the angle here so I can get a flat edge on it. Now, the colors I'm using are just the three primaries: yellow med, ultramarine, and permanent red. I like the way they come together, and on a white background, the translucency is kind of fun. So I'm going to start with the permanent red. I am feeling really peaceful this morning. I'm feeling very excited and energized. I'm feeling satisfied with my discipline today. So I'm going to start with some red and just kind of, I want to shadow the paint. Let's see, I am feeling energized. So I'm going to make a long vertical stroke here. You see I'm just smearing it across. I have had 2 cups of coffee, so that might help. Now I might need to change the kind of red that I'm using at some point to more of a crimson, but for right now the permanent red is okay. These red lines are going to be my energy today. And then with this little bit of leftover, I'm just going to put it on this rag that I have. Just wipe it off, and it's clean. This is a technique that I've been adopting because I don't really have the space when I live in my van to really properly wash the brushes that I use. So just using a paint knife and a rag, I can do that anywhere, either in a coffee shop or a library, at a park. I don't have to have a running water. I don't have to have a brush cleaner per se. Okay, so I'm feeling excited this morning, and I see all of my excitement streaks here. What's next? What else am I feeling? I'm feeling a lot of peace and quietness in my soul. Now, blue is often representative of peace, so I'm going to take a little bit of blue, put it right on the knife here, and actually drag it across the bottom. Makes kind of a foundation here. And one reason why I like doing this smear technique is because you can see the colors do layer, and it adds some depth to the piece. Let's see. Wipe off the excess, and I want to keep it as flat as possible. Normally, historically, I've liked to layer up the paint and have thick strokes. However, that takes a long time to dry, and when you're doing a quick and dirty piece like this, you need it to dry quickly so that you can layer more things on top. So even though acrylic already dries very quickly, relatively, I want it to dry instantly. So this kind of smear technique, I can already touch it with my fingers and we're all good. So we have excitement, we have some peace today, and I don't think I want to add too many more colors, but I am going to add some other lines and marks. And that is where I will bring in the Posca pens. This is a set, the first set that I bought. It has all of the major colors that you really need. I only use 4 of them to the majority, and I actually ended up buying a couple of bigger ones for the colors that I use the most, as well as a couple of colors that I don't use, that I don't have in the other set. So we'll shake it up a little bit, and I want to use gray. It adds a nice texture. It's not a strong, bold texture, but it is a nice line still. So I like to start by outlining things. So I'm going to start over here, outline the piece with gray. And I might do it with this one as well. I like outlining the color segments because it adds some body and some shape to it. Now, we need some more bold black here, but maybe not as bold as the outside borders. We have just the individual thinner black. I'll shake it up a little bit. What else do we have? I often like to look for faces. I want to find a face in here. Where do we see a face? Seeing a face gives the viewer and myself an opportunity to attach myself or attach themselves to the painting and sort of put themselves in so they can experience it. So we're feeling excitement and energy. We're also feeling some peace and some calm foundation. So where can I add a face? I'm looking for like maybe a nose. Maybe that's an ear. I see this right here. What else do I see? Another technique that I like to do is try to layer the different marks that I make. So I started with red here, and then there's blue on top, and then gray as well, and now black on top. So that's like 3 or 4 different layers of color. And when they're different colors, different layers, and they're going in different directions, it adds a sense of depth to an otherwise very flat painting. I think this looks like a good little nose. This kind of looks like a hair style. And honestly, this right here looks like, to me, somewhat of a, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I think it's a blindfold. That's the word I'm looking for. So if we imagine this blue stripe that's surrounded in gray to be a blindfold, this is a nose, this is hair. That means the eyes would be in here, but they're covered, right? As would the ear as well. So we have a nose, and then we're going to make some lips. He's going to be mewing. That goes down to the chin. We've got an absolute Giga Chad right here. See the nose, lips, chin, cheekbone. This is our hair. The eyes and also the ears are covered by our blindfold, which I'm going to take a thick blue Posca pen and amplify that blindfold right here. It's so thick, it's almost like a blindfold, but also a headband. It's just a lot going on. But we've also extended the head, so I'm gonna accept it. Maybe we will imply like an earlobe right here. Other than that, we have a Giga Chad. Gotta add some jawbone texture, maybe some facial hair if we're feeling funny about it. Some people need facial hair, some people don't. But it adds an extra level of texture that I do usually appreciate. Now, what is Indiana doing right here? I don't know. Do we need some? We need some more. We need some more on Giga Chad. His head needs some love. He needs some hair. He's not bald. His skull doesn't look like that. His hair looks like that. Plus, it'd be nice to add another color to this piece. Red, blue, silver, or gray, and black. Kind of monochromatic. I'd like to spark things up a little bit with a different color, and I think it's calling for green. Gonna give him some green here, why not? Boom, right here. I like to do colors that, like two individual main colors, they go together, and then we have two highlight colors that don't really go, but they still kind of look good, simply because they kind of pop, and it's a unique look for the piece. What else we got? Indiana here needs to be something, and that does kind of look like a side profile as well. Like, imagine if we take, let's see, I want to add in purple, another highlight color. It's also a mixture of these two, so that's fun. This looks like an ear placement. Oh, this guy needs some love. Hang on. That's a little bit better. There's an ear. We have an eyeball. And lips. Okay, purple's not really showing up too well, and I don't like that. We're going to give this person green here too. Overdo the lips there. Overdo the eyes. And leave this pretty minimal, I think. So Chad here is our focus, and then this is an implication of another face, just for funsies. Now, this is already looking pretty great. We have energy, we have peace, we have a couple of Chads, we have a blindfold. That's fun. I kind of feel like it needs a bit more texture, but maybe we'll let the empty space just speak for itself and just be. So I think this has pretty much checked all of my boxes for a piece. I have a couple of major colors. They represent a couple of different things for me. We have some layers going on. We have some characters that we can implement ourselves into. He definitely looks like he's kissing or mewing or something. I don't know. But that's okay. I think I'm about done with this, but why don't you tell me, what else would you add if you had these materials and you had these specific markers? Would you add anything else? Well, that's all for today.